Hi, this is Andrea, the South African girl living in Canada, where I give tips and advice on immigration. And today I'm really excited to introduce you to Caren and Vincent Hayes, and just that you can hear more about their journey to Canada from South Africa. Welcome, guys.
Thanks,
Thank
Andrea.
you.
Excellent. So tell me a little bit more about you and your family and your journey.
Yeah, we moved here 3 years ago. The five of us, 3 kids. They were 13, 10 and 7 when we moved. About 3 months later, the 2 schnauzers came, the 2 little dogs.
Lovely.
Yeah, so that's us living in Oakville, really enjoying Canada, loving the summer.
Fantastic.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I know, exactly right. So 3 years ago, when you guys moved over, didn't you find it was kind of, did you worry? I mean, I was worried with my kids. They're in a certain grade and you worried, are they going to move backwards or they're going to move above to the next grade? What happened for you guys?
I think they were all super excited about the fact that they skipped 6 months of
Ooh.
their grade. They're so proud to go say, oh, I'm already in this grade, to their friends in South Africa that still have to finish the year.
Exactly.
So they all did January to June, and then they skipped to the next grade in September. Our youngest only did grade 1 for 6 months in Afrikaans, and then she skipped into grade 2. The school was amazing with the support.
Okay.
I think that was a bit of a concern, is the language, but it was really good. They gave us such a lot of support that I would say it took her about 4 months, and then she was on par with the rest.
There are a lot of people that speak to me and talk about their kids that speak Afrikaans. Did she get into her Canadian pretty quickly?
Oh, very quickly.
Oh,
They have
you see.
beautiful Canadian accents, although they can do a good Suzelle.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, I love Suzelle. Suzelle DIY.
Yes.
Oh, I love her. Fantastic. Your kids, I know that you're a musical family, so they obviously had hobbies in South Africa. Were they able to continue with them easily in Canada?
I think the music part, yes, definitely. They all continued with their instruments and they continued playing orchestra. The sport was a little bit different, so obviously we're doing cricket and rugby and field hockey. So the
Oops.
field hockey was a big miss for them. All 3 of them played field hockey and they really missed it when they came here and they couldn't really do it. Although girls can do it up to the age of 12, but then beyond that, some of the high schools do have
Yes.
girls hockey, but not for the boys. So you know what, and the boys, we let them try basketball in the first year.
Okay.
They didn't really enjoy it that much, so they ended up playing, one plays rugby at the Crusaders Rugby Club at the moment.
For
Nice.
the first time. For the
Yeah,
first
for
time.
the first time. He didn't even play rugby in South Africa.
Wow.
And then our other son plays tennis.
Okay. As far as I know, there's a very, very high level of rugby in Canada. The coaching is amazing. So if your kids play rugby, it's amazing. There's girls rugby, which is also huge in Canada. And yeah, my daughter also plays field hockey, but I get it. It's not the primary sport we know in Canada. I think it's important to hit the ice and play ice hockey, right? Yeah. Tell me about the challenges that your kids face. Did they face any, being immigrant children?
I definitely think so. I think moving to a new country is exciting, certainly, but
Sure.
it's also traumatic, leaving behind loved ones and friends and just everything that you know, even though it was this great, exciting thing to come to, because it was, and I think the biggest challenge for them was the social challenge of making friends. But I think if you move from Joburg to PE or from Cape Town to Pretoria, it's going to be the same thing. It was just a question of knowing, getting to know people. I think the school that the younger 2 go to, the elementary school, is an amazing school, John Knox Christian School, and in Oakville, and so they really put a lot of emphasis on community. So we got
Yes.
to know a lot of people, and so did they. High school was a little bit different, as our high school student goes to King's Christian Collegiate, and that's they draw students from all over.
Yeah.
So it was a little bit more difficult, I would say.
Yeah, and I think high school's just a different kettle of fish in any country.
Yes.
I think it's not just a country thing. I think going to high school, kids are at that age where it's like, there's no school uniform. What am I going to wear to school? What is cool? How do I fit in? So generally it's difficult on all fields, and now they're in a new country. So I get it.
Yeah, and especially for him, I mean, he was part of a little community from the age of grade R all the way through. They all went to the same school, so that was really tough.
No, I can imagine.
What is also interesting is that we got to know a lot of people through the primary school
Mm.
because the parents are a lot more community based.
Okay.
Whereas high school, what we found was that students on the bus and off he goes.
Yeah, you don't
You
part
don't
of high
see
school at
other
all.
kids on the or other students on the bus, and you
No.
don't see their parents.
No.
So that was just our experience. Maybe it's a little bit different in
Yeah.
public schools
Yeah.
because it's more community kind of based.
Yeah. By the time you hit high school, teachers treat the children like adults.
Mhm.
You're on your own. And if you don't want to hand in your assignment, don't worry, you'll just get a round donut. No one will question it. You just get a 0. And your kids need to start being responsible. So by the time you hit high school, you preparing the way for university.
So the high school, the system is very different, right? So I think for our high school student, that was quite a big challenge, is the fact that he followed a Cambridge level system in South Africa in a private school. And when he arrived here, it was completely different. It's 2 semesters. I mean, we rocked up and he had no math for 6 months. It's like, what?
I know.
You know?
Yeah.
So I think for him, just the system where there's 4 blocks. So high school has 4 blocks per day, 80-minute blocks. And so you basically have 4 subjects per semester, and then you have 2 semesters over the year. Whereas in South Africa, you do your 6, 7 subjects right throughout every single day. You have math.
Yes.
And I think that was a huge challenge.
Yeah.
I think just adapting to the system, not the academics, because the work was a lot easier for him. He kept saying, "Oh, we did this in grade 7," but it was the system that was so completely different. And basically, sitting in a classroom for 80 minutes.
Yes.
Hello.
Yeah.
You know? So
Look, you should know your subject after 80 minutes a
Yes.
day. Listen here, for one whole semester. If you don't get your geography or your math by then I don't know. I don't know.
So
My
it
kids
is-
too,
it
they
is-
love it.
It's in depth, right?
Yes.
It's a bit like university.
Yeah.
So if I can just explain, you need a certain amount of credits.
Yeah.
And as you finish a subject, you basically write it off, like university.
Yeah,
It really
you're
is
done. A lot of the teachers are very involved and they're really interested in the well-being of your children. The guidance counselors, etc., are super involved. They want to know that your kids are okay, that they're going to be passing, and obviously for immigrant children as well, they want to make sure that they're settling in well. So for me, that experience for me has been also really great. For you guys integrating into the community, how did you find that? What did you do to get a little bit more integrated when you got here?
Well,
I think the school helped us a lot where our kids went to. You know, we went to
elementary school, yes.
yeah, so we met a lot of people there, and also the church community. You know, that's where
course.
that's where we met most people,
Yeah.
and then
And
we
the Safas.
Yes.
There's so many South Africans, and you can have a braai every weekend.
For sure.
I mean, Vincent met someone in the line when you
that's right.
when you went to apply for your driver's license.
Yes.
You know, and then you just become best friends because, you know, both of us were only in the country for a week and we still know them really well. So I think, so the South African community is very strong in Oakville.
Yeah.
So you can only spend time with South Africans, which is not advisable. You have to get to know the Canadians. They're
Yes.
wonderful people.
Thank you, Caren.
But you know what's really great about knowing South Africans is that you don't lose your history. You
Yeah.
don't lose, if you move to a place and there are no South Africans, and there's no one you can say to, oh, I miss this and this from Woolies, or I went to Pretoria University, or we go to Glentana on holiday, then you've lost your whole history. So it's
True.
important to have the South Africans to say, oh, you know, what you missed, or play a bit of Mango Groove or something, you know. That makes sense.
Awesome.
Now you know how old I am.
Oh my gosh, you said it. Oh, I love it. Exactly. Nothing like reminiscing with buddies from South Africa. And I think it really is so heartwarming and it's always great. Okay, so any tips or advice that you could give immigrants coming over?
So my brother moved here, what is that, 20 years
20
ago?
years ago, yeah.
And so he advised us to bring everything.
Okay.
You know, so some people come here with suitcases in hands and that's it.
Wow.
We kind of
Brought too much.
we brought everything, and the 2 dogs. So for us it just worked that kind of way. Maybe the other thing is, if you have the time and the resources, maybe do come to Canada, you know, before and come and check it out. Look at the neighborhoods where you want to live. Look at the schools. Come and see the people. Because I think most of the time where people start living and renting for the first year, 9 out of 10 times that's more or less the area that they want to live.
Good point.
So if you can do a little bit more due diligence on coming over before, that could be useful.
Then do it.
Or
think
connect
so.
with someone here.
Mm.
I
Yes.
think,
Yeah.
that can answer you,
Yes.
all your questions, I think.
That's actually very true. When you guys got here, I mean, what did you find was new and exciting when you landed? Maybe it's something that you remembered from your kids, or that you felt the minute you landed here, like, oh my word.
Definitely Tim
Oh,
Hortons.
Come on,
Timmy's.
guys.
So-
Timbits.
Timbits.
So for the first, I would say, 6
The first
weeks, we had Tim Hortons daily. And then at some point I said, okay, that's it. That's it.
The-
Once a week, only once a week. So they loved it. I must say, I think they're not so excited about Tim Hortons anymore, but it's very good.
But it's a
Coffee
Friday.
and-
Friday
after school.
After school, that's Tim Hortons always.
Have you had a double-double?
In the beginning, double.
Double-double. It's like a double
Disgusting.
coffee, double cream, double
That's
sugar,
it.
right?
Yeah.
That's
It's
what you
it's
asked
a
for,
proper
guys.
one.
It's a proper Tim order.
But
Double-double.
I think the ice cap is still the best.
Yes.
That's maybe still the most sought after in the house,
Yes.
and the donuts.
Absolutely.
The-
My
the chocolate
daughter
chip.
buys BLTs, loves them because she doesn't eat cheese. And if she's hungry and at school, kids leave school, right, at lunchtime, and they walk around, they go to plazas, get lunch, go back to school. Then it's bacon, lettuce, tomato with an ice cap. If you're lucky, it's much cheaper than Starbucks, right?
Yeah.
A lot cheaper.
Okay, awesome. Let's talk a little bit about schooling now. You guys decided to take the route of private schooling. Tell me more about that.
Well, for us, our kids went to smaller schools in Cape Town,
Okay.
and we just kind of felt that, for them to go to big public schools, for us, it was just going to be too far a stretch, effectively. Public schooling you get for free, and private you have to pay.
Yes.
But so for us, we decided that it's effectively buying the worldview on the private school, because the education is not different to public. That's pre-COVID. Maybe with COVID, with having resources in the private school, we think that the education might be a little bit better than public, just because they've got more resources per kid, kind of thing.
Sure.
But so for us, really, it was buying the worldview, a Christian worldview from a private education. That was kind of our decision.
Totally.
But there's some really brilliant public schools available. So that's not at all to say that it's not good. It's very good.
So tell us about uniforms. Do the private schools have uniforms or not?
They do, and I, as a mom, love it.
Yes.
Because I do not have any arguments in the morning about who wants to wear what, or you can't wear that. And yes, so we do have for the elementary and the high school.
It is not as neat as the schooling that we used to,
Yeah, it's quite casual.
but it's pretty casual.
Yes, it is
So-
casual. So you'll find they actually have sweats,
Mhm.
which
That's
we
right.
call tracksuit pants.
Yes.
And you'll never hear the word tracksuit pants in Canada. So let's just put it out there now.
Or trousers.
Or trousers. It's sweats, and those are your tracksuit pants. And then they'll wear kind of any shoes, trainers or black shoes or whatever. And then in summer it's a golf shirt with maybe a jersey or a
hoodie.
Hoodie.
or hoodie, right? So it's pretty relaxed. But I agree with you. Oh, my
and the
word.
hair, right?
Yes.
So hair can be worn anyway.
Yes.
Boys can have long hair. they
And
can
any
have
colour,
purple
right?
hair.
And shaving.
Oh yes, and we even have some of the students in the elementary school with beards.
Okay, Caren, so you're a music teacher. This is very cool and very interesting for me. And you teach music at a school, correct? Okay, so tell us about your journey in terms of how it worked to find a job as a teacher.
Well, I was really, really blessed. I started doing supply work actually in the music department at the high school, and then also started doing supply work in the elementary school.
Okay, so supply, is that like
Supply,
a
that's
locum or a...
relief teaching.
Oh,
It's
okay.
like a locum.
Okay,
Yes. Policing.
yes.
And so I saw an opportunity at the school and asked if I could come in. There was already a piano teacher and a guitar teacher, and I'm a flute teacher, also piano, and they gave me the opportunity, so that was really great. I didn't have to do any exams, because usually if you're a teacher, a South African teacher, you have to do 2 years of an extra qualification for some of the degrees.
Okay.
I'm registered with the Royal College or the Royal Conservatory of Music, but you don't really have to be registered with anyone. And then I have some private students in a studio for that I do from home. Of course, at the moment everything's online.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Wow, that's got to be so difficult with music.
Yes, it is quite interesting.
Wow, okay, so then in terms of music, tell me about just in general, comparing South Africa to Canada. Is it a thing in Canada, music? Are there more kids doing music than in South Africa? What is your viewpoint?
Yeah, I think the music program in Canada is absolutely fantastic. I mean, most students at some point in their life have the opportunity to play a musical instrument, whether it's trumpet or flute or clarinet or a stringed instrument. There's school bands. Every town has an orchestra, a community orchestra. There is a lot that happens in the music scene, really a lot.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's not like in South Africa where you have to, you have to pay for extra lessons or whatever. Obviously, if your kid is amazing, you want to do it more than just your subject at school, then do that. But everybody gets to have an opportunity, and I just love that.
Absolutely, and the instruments are for free. You don't have to pay for it. It really is quite incredible.
That is great. Things like extramural activities. So how does it work here? What is different to what people would have experienced back in South Africa?
I think one thing that's important to know is that if your child is really good at a sport, let's say basketball, it becomes the main focus. So for us, in South Africa in summer you do cricket and tennis, and in winter it's netball and rugby. So it's a little bit more balanced. But in Canada, so if you are really good at sport, they take it all the way up there.
So true.
Right? So if you do gymnastics and you do really well, you end up doing 25 hours a week. But the level is very high. You can choose. There's different levels.
Yeah.
But a lot of students prefer to actually really go for the full thing, and then they spend a lot of time on one sport, maybe two. Summer and winter, it changes.
Yeah, I would say that was maybe the thing that we found the most difficult for the for the kids to kind of get the cadence right in terms of what sport to do, where to do it. That was just because that's in South Africa in the schools they can do everything there.
Yeah, and did you also find? I mean, for us it was such an adjustment in terms of the winter months are so long. So the summer sports that they play, for instance, field hockey. If your child does play field hockey, literally it's like I think it's 8 weeks, if I'm not mistaken. So you are hockey 8 weeks. Then the rest of the year, if you play club hockey because you want to play hockey, you play kind of in the winter and it's indoor hockey. But your summer months are really limited, so your summer sports are limited, and so that is a challenge.
We're a tennis family.
Okay.
So tennis we do outdoors in the summer, but it continues because you have wonderful facilities for indoor tennis. And I just want to say about the community centers.
True.
Because just in terms of extramurals, there's so much to do. I mean, there's art classes and there's pottery and there's sewing and there's woodwork, and I love the community centers in Canada. It's like so every suburb with their little community center, and there's a swimming pool and the library's attached to it. I think it really is fantastic.
Yeah, the hockey rinks, then there's free skating times in between the hockey practices. It is really cool, and the pools are heated, so there's no excuse, right? Yeah. Doesn't matter what the weather's doing.
Even Vincent has skates.
Oh my word!
You should see that.
Next video, please.
No, please not.
Vincent, to that point, let's talk about you in sport. I believe you're an avid sportsman. You're a runner. Tell me about your running, and can you run in winter?
Okay, I think the first thing is I love sport.
Okay.
But I'm not that big a runner than what you thought.
Okay.
Yes.
But anyway, so I do a lot of kind of different kind of sports. Running, for example, I think obviously in summer it's great, it's super hot. In winter, I would run up to about -5 outside. I mean, in Oakville, we don't get that much snow here, so only for the couple of days that are really white, you need to be careful in terms of running. But most of the other days in winter, I was going out and you put two, I don't know what you call it now. Buffs or
a buff.
toques or beanies
toque,
or
a
whatever.
beanie.
A buff and a beanie.
Buff and a beanie and a toque. So double layer trousers on or running pants, and I would go -5, -10, but not lower than that. Then it becomes cold.
Yeah, but what about the running shoes in the snow?
No, I use my the same running shoes. You can get the ones that are a little bit more thicker lined at the bottom.
Okay.
Or you can add on those other things at the bottom of the shoe.
Yes, they
So-
look like you
Rubber.
buy them at Canadian Tire. They're actually like strap-on chains
That's right.
under your shoe, which give you grip. But I've got, now that you've mentioned it, also another friend of mine from South Africa that lives here, she's like, forget that. She just runs in her shoes.
Yeah, I think it's different if you live outside of the
I think so
GTA,
too,
you know,
yeah.
where there's a lot more snow and these kind of
Agreed.
things. But I think if you do live outside of the GTA, then the cross-country skiing is maybe a very good alternative. for running.
Yes,
You know,
absolutely.
then you make use of the kind of the winter sport, and I think that's the one thing that people have told us
Yeah.
is you make use of summer and make use of the summer sport, but when winter arrives, just flip over to winter sports. You know,
Yeah,
don't try to fight.
totally.
It's like in Cape Town.
Yes.
I hated their wind.
Yes,
You know,
same.
I should have, whatever, you know, skiing or, you know,
Yeah,
windsurfing or this kind
skydiving
of,
with the
exactly,
wind.
with the wind. So here, don't fight the winter, you know,
Yes.
just make use of it and go and ski and skate and hockey and whatever you need to do,
Snowshoe.
Yeah.
but get out. And
Cool.
so good advice was also the amount of time that you spend in summer outside, make sure you spend the same amount of time outside during winter as well. You just clothe differently and it's different sport.
I saw that awesome video of portaging that you do. So it's very cool. You have to go see Vincent's YouTube channel. What is portaging? Tell us and tell the viewers, because it's just so cool.
So Andrea, we as a family we love camping in South Africa. So we normally we took the 4x4 and what did we have again? A Conqueror, one of those big trailers.
Oh yes.
So we took that into the Cedar Mountains and with a lot of stuff again,
Yes.
camp for a week. So what I really like about this thing, Portage, is it's really simple. It's back to basics. And so you go in a canoe, you load your stuff in a canoe, so what you can't fit into that 2 bags stays at home. And so I did it with my sons. You know, I would take the one son out and we'd do portage for 3 days. So you drive up to a lake, you canoe, and then at the end of the lake you'll do the portage. So that effectively just means that you put the canoe on your shoulder and all the stuff on your head, whatever, and you walk to the other side, to the other lake, which sometimes could be a kilometer or less or more,
Wow.
and then back into the water, and then you canoe to the campsite,
Oh,
and there's nothing. Okay, so there is outhouse. There's an outhouse here,
They call it a treasure box.
Treasure
oh,
box.
thank goodness.
and that's it. You know, there's a fire pit, and you fish and you sleep and you read and you hike and you swim. But the best time of the year is to go July, August, September,
Okay.
October. You
Yeah.
know, late summer
Yeah.
and then autumn. Because if
Awesome.
you go beginning summer, you know what's going to happen. Those mosquitoes are going
And
to
the
fly
black
you
flies.
away. They're going to nip
Yeah,
you.
Friet.
Yeah.
And would you camp in winter?
Well, some people do.
Do they?
They do. I think it's a bit of obviously not for the
think
faint-hearted, but I think I
Canadian.
think the Canadians, you know, we think from South Africa that, you know, we're
Hardcore.
pretty outdoor and hardcore.
Yes, yes.
No. So
Yeah.
you'll be surprised.
Yeah, I know these guys here. I mean, you can't portage anymore. That lake is frozen, guys. There's no more portaging.
Yeah.
You skating on the lake, or you're cutting a hole and you're doing fishing, and they have these houses, these tiny little huts, beautiful different colors, and they're fishing inside, and then you cook the fish and you eat it. But it is very cold. It's not for the faint-hearted. No.
No.
Crazy. All right, so let's talk about your family back in South Africa. You guys have been here for just over 3 years. How do you stay connected with your family?
My mother phones every day.
Aww, that's so
Yeah.
cool.
I think WhatsApp's probably the best way to go in terms of we have 2 different family groups. So everybody posts on there every single day, and then we just, WhatsApp
Mhm.
video call, really. And
Mm.
especially for the children and grannies to see them. I think we do that regularly,
Okay.
phoning grandparents. And then my parents have visited. Vincent's mom's been here more than once.
Oh, lovely.
We've gone back twice.
Okay.
We did the first one, I think, which was a good idea. We only went back after 18 months, and we decided that. We made that decision. I think if you go back too soon, those little ones that really miss home and miss friends, it's not good for them. It was good to do 18 months and then go back for the first time.
I think that is such great advice, and I'm with you 100%. We kind of did the same thing. In fact, I took 3 years to go back, but I'm with you 100% on that. Also, if you could give so 3 years have passed, if you could give your 3-year younger self advice, what would you say to yourself about immigrating?
I think I'd give my younger self 10 years ago advice to come a little bit sooner.
Oh, that's the best answer ever. Totally. So I think the thing for us is just, thanks so much, guys, for sharing your story. I think there's so many people that can relate to you, and I'm just so grateful that we are friends in Canada and that we can have this great chat. And I think that's really great advice. Thank you so much for joining us, and look forward to chatting to you soon.